And our in-depth coverage continues now of campaign 2016. WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi is live in studio now with a closer look at what's at stake here in Rhode Island. All right, so leading right now on WPRI.com, a piece that you put out there about the top 5 things that we need to know before we hit the polls. And again, they're open till 8 o'clock tonight.
That's right. So a couple things I want people to watch out for if they're following the race tonight. And Brian O'Connor set it up well with the national stakes. So Rhode Island's primaries matter on both sides for the reasons he pointed out, but especially for the Republicans. And that's because the GOP race is really now a fight over delegates at this point. The only question that really matters is whether Donald Trump can win enough delegates to get the nomination before the convention, or if John Kasich and Ted Cruz can hold down his numbers to stop him. So 2 key things to watch: whether Ted Cruz gets at least 10% of the vote in Rhode Island, which would be enough so he can qualify for delegates, and whether Trump has any chance to win as much as 67%, a high bar but not totally out of the realm of possibility, in which case Trump would get extra Rhode Island delegates. Now for the Democrats, Hillary Clinton has already gotten a big lead in delegates nationally, and the math has gotten very tough for Bernie Sanders. But when I sat down with him Sunday, he told me what he told CNN today, which is that he's staying in the race to the end regardless. But to stay relevant, he needs to keep winning states, because Rhode Island's thought to be his best chance today among the 5 states that are voting. Clinton, of course, wants to win Rhode Island and really close the deal.
Earlier, we heard Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea talking about turnout, okay? We don't know whether it's going to be record turnout or not. We're anticipating high numbers. I heard you making some phone calls this morning. What is your sense so far? Well,
I assume Rhode Island's going to have a decent voter turnout today, for the simple reason that these races are still competitive, which means voters are still interested. They have a reason to show up and vote. Now, whether Rhode Island will have a record primary turnout is another story. If you think back to 2008, when Hillary Clinton was facing Barack Obama in Rhode Island, turnout soared to more than 200,000 voters. Very high for a primary. That was in both parties. It's not clear if we'll see the same level of interest this year, though at the same time, when we've seen these huge crowds turning out, particularly for Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, you have to assume there's the possibility that maybe they could drive out a lot of voters. Yeah,
and you speak of both of those candidates. The rallies this weekend, what about their messages was resonating with Rhode Island voters?
Well, it's really interesting, Danielle, because when I was listening to them as I went between the rallies, obviously there are many, many big differences on a lot of policies between Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, but there is real overlap between their messages, particularly when it comes to the economy. They both spent a lot of time during their speeches railing against the decisions by political and business leaders that have led to manufacturing jobs leaving Rhode Island and other industrial states. And that has really resonated in a state like Rhode Island that's had so much trouble losing so many of those kind of jobs. In fact, I think it's resonating so much. Part of how you see that is John Kasich mentioned it too, as did Bill Clinton when he was in Rhode Island, though they didn't make as big a deal out of it. But I think that's a message that appeals to both Republican and Democratic primary voters who are just frustrated.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate your analysis, Ted. Ted's obviously going to be on top of it all throughout the day, and we'll be blogging and putting updates on our website as well. We appreciate it. And stay with us for continuing coverage throughout the day as we bring you updates on air and online, including the race results starting tonight on Eyewitness News at 10 and 11.